you can make quite a few decisions just simply as you're walking towards it. So walking towards this tree, for example, you make the decision straight away you're going to record it because it's big enough. It's a tree that you're going to go wow, and it's clearly worthy in every way to be added to the inventory. You also, when you're walking towards it, you try to make a decision about what it is. Now, because we know this is a willow, it's a white willow, this is a white willow, so we do know that, so we've made some decisions already. And then you have to decide, well, let's just have a look at the tree, and you say, well, is that a maiden? Well, here we have a maiden. That's pretty obvious that no one has ever messed with that tree. It's just grown the way it wants to. But this one is clearly a bit different. This one got to here, and then somebody has managed it at about, well, roughly nearly 2 meters, and it's been pollarded for some reason or other. So that's the thing. So now we know the tree form. We know we know what type of tree it is. So two things: we've got to measure the girth and take the location of the tree. Well, this tree is leaning a little bit in this direction. It's more obvious from here than it is from there. It's leaning in that direction. So I can't put the tape round it like that, can I? Because that would be wrong. I've got to put the tape round it like that. Okay, at an angle, which is perpendicular to the globe. So if I can get somebody to help me, 1.5 metres is the usual height. My shoulder just happens to be 1.5 metres. I've got a 1.5 metre shoulder. And most of you, but not everybody, has got a 1.5 metre shoulder. So we don't ask you to measure that accurately. But if you just put your foot there like that, this is 1.5. So now what I need is either somebody to help me, or I need Pam to just prove that enough. Thank you very much. You did it in exactly the right place. And then I just say goodbye for a moment. I walk around. Now maybe it's going to help.
Yeah.
And as you walk around, you start to see other features of the cavities at the back. I got that that's about right, okay? So now we have a girth which is so this is 4 meters 70. Okay? So we've got a tree that's 4 meters 70 in girth at about the right height. So that's that you write down in your little notebook. Then you should have a look to see where you're standing. And the way to do that is to have an app on here. This is so fast. I use the one called GR. It's just GR. Okay? A little thing called GR. If you press that, what should happen fairly soon is that it's looking for satellites. Once it's found a few satellites, it will give you a grid reference. It might change over a period of about 10 to 15 seconds as it's finding more satellites, it's improving the accuracy. So now it's telling me it's accurate, it's very accurate to just a couple of meters. So I know the grid reference is SE 635581731, so that goes down in my notebook. So I now know, I think, all of the critical information. I know it's on private land, so I put private. I know what the girth is, I know what type of tree it is, and I know where it is. Those are the critical things. The other additional information which you're going to add, it's a pollard.
Yeah.
that we've decided it's a pollard. It's got holes, it's got large holes, and you can mark that holes bigger than 15 centimetres. That's something you can add to the information. And if you look in there, that hole goes all the way down. It's a hollowing truck as well, so that's more information you can put down. What else do I need? Epiphytes?
Squirrels going in, squirrels going in, and then the cat's going, and then the duck lays its eggs makes a nest in the top here, and then when the chicks hatch, they all jump out onto the floor. So it's a live thing, like.
Yes. Unfortunately, we can't add that level of detail to the ATI, but it would be lovely if we could. Epiphytes, well, we've got ivy growing on it now. As far as the ATI is concerned, ivy is described as an epiphyte, so you can mark ivy as a feature of the tree. And I'm now going to ask Alex if there's anything else he would add to that.
Well, I would think when we're talking about measuring and we're looking at the angles, okay, we've got a good comparison here. So we've got this maiden tree behind us, okay, and we've got this. A pollard measurement is always going to be smaller. It's going to be a reduced diameter in comparison with a maiden, because there's the interaction with the constant loss of material and then the growth rate. And it's nothing to be disappointed. You're unlikely to be getting sort of lots of 5 metre plus measurements of pollards, because particularly if they haven't had management, they would just be so top heavy that they've probably already fractured, and we're looking at remnants. So if you were just doing maidens, you might typically be expecting to get 4.5 as a minimum, up to 5.5, 6. If you're measuring correctly with a pollard, don't worry if you're getting something between about 4 and 5. So yeah, the overall size will be less. When you're now then looking for the features to record in the listing, it is really important to have a look around the tree, because what you see from one side may be completely different. And so many times we've been to sites and somebody has just said, as everyone's walking away, have you looked to the other side? Wow, that's just changed it. It's changed it from a veteran tree to an ancient tree. Okay, so with this particular tree, as Alan has said, you've got an opening here over a 150, so there's a feature. Okay, it's got a cavity within that opening. There's another feature. You've got another hole here. It's cracking, but we're just on those. You might say, well, actually, it's possibly just a veteran tree. It has got some features, but not a lot. But if you went around the back, and as we do more examples, you'll see, looking at it from the opposite side, it kind of elevates them to ancient, because you can think, well, how long did it take to almost fully hollow out the tree? Even as quick as it happens with willow, it's still a long process. Now, these trees have been managed more recently than a lot. Okay, so you don't have a lot of deadwood, and you don't have a lot of, well, certainly no hollowing branches in this particular example. So if you had those on top of what you've already got, you would just say, well, we've definitely got an ancient tree. It doesn't matter if you've kind of got 3 or 4 features, 2 or 3 features, and the size, and you're not entirely sure whether you have a veteran or an ancient tree, but you're definitely going to have one of those two. So if you put in one of them with some notes, and you've looked all the way around the tree and you've put some photographs in, then we can say, yeah, actually, we think you've got an ancient tree. That's more likely than saying you've got a veteran tree. If you've got half a dozen features and you've got a size of around about 4 to 5.
Yeah, it is subjective, particularly the boundary between veteran and ancient. But this is marked as an ancient tree. I happen to know that because we think it's got the characteristics that suit ancient. The tree next to it, however, is something is about as odd as you can get.
Just before you move on, can I ask a little question? When was it last pollarded, in your estimation?
Well, we've got the owner stamp.
Oh, I think it's 5 years or something. 5 years. It's just grown. Oh yeah, it's just grown wheat, you know.
The original pollarding would have been a long
Yeah.
time ago. I mean, you.